It's my pleasure to welcome you. My name is Mark Jirik. I'm director of the Northern Crops Institute. Last night we had a wonderful reception. Thanks for those of you that could join us. I was going to welcome you to our Ancient Grains Conference, but I was informed by a number of people, I have to say, our first annual Ancient Grains Conference. So we are excited. We're excited to have all of you here. For those of you that don't know who NCI is, we're a four-state collaboration between Minnesota, Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. We're based on the campus of NDSU in Fargo, North Dakota. We're governed by an independent board called the Northern Crops Council, made up of grower leaders, business leaders, and government leaders from the four states. And we provide technical services. So for any of you that have been to our facilities, I know a number of you in the room have had that opportunity. We've got a wide range of pilot-scale processing equipment, everything from flour milling, pasta manufacturing, oilseed pressing, hexane extraction, that we utilize both for education, but also to help business and industry grow their businesses and help everyone from entrepreneurs to Fortune 500 companies get crops from the Northern Plains to market. In addition, we do courses and training. If you look back historically, we're celebrating 41 years this year as a Northern Crops Institute, and I would say we're probably best known for our short courses. So prior to the pandemic, we would host anywhere from 200 to 300 international buyers at the Northern Crops Institute, and our mission was to help grow those international markets. The pandemic was an interesting thing for us, going from hosting 200 to 300 international buyers to nothing. And as horrible as the pandemic was, it's been amazing to see how things have changed. So when we started, when the pandemic started, we said, we still need to figure out how we carry out our mission. So we started a webinar series. The first one was called Market Update. The second one was called Cereal Innovators. And it was really the cereal innovators that got us talking about whole grains and ancient grains, and it really started changing our mindset. As a result of that, hopefully everyone, when they walked in, got a copy of our Ancient Grains Handbook, and as a result of that is the reason that we're here today, is that interest in ancient grains and their role that it plays in our diets. So my hope is that as horrible as the pandemic was, there's some seeds of hope for the future that were planted as well, and this conference hopefully is a piece of that. As I already said, our mission is to support regional and value-added agriculture by conducting educational and technical programs that expand and maintain domestic and international markets for northern-grown crops. We talked a little bit about that technical analysis, or that technical service. We conducted a survey of those people that participate in our technical services in 2018 and 19. As a result of our technical services, on average, those companies invest an additional 16% in the four-state region. When you look at our courses, as a result of our courses, 95% of our course participants had a greater confidence in U.S. supply chain, 99% had a better understanding of U.S. crop quality, and 51% actually increased purchases from the United States as a result of what they learned in our courses. So it truly is about education, how do we grow markets, and how do we change people's lives around the world. The agenda today, hopefully all of you also received a pamphlet or a book guide for the day that has the information. It has all the agenda, information on the speakers. I won't go into great detail. I will note that I'm extremely excited about our keynote speakers, and as I introduce them, I'll let you know a little bit about why that is, but each one of them were invited for a very specific reason, and I'm excited about each and every one of them. I do want to thank our sponsors for the day. We've got South Dakota Wheat here. I know I saw Reed in the back. South Dakota Wheat has been a 41-year sponsor of the Northern Crops Institute, and having them sponsor this conference, we very much appreciate it. Minnesota Department of Agriculture, we do get support, legislative support from the states of Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota, and we appreciate MDA supporting this conference. Ardent Mills, Shereen, we've got Shereen and Lori here. We appreciate their support as well. Bueller, in the back, we appreciate the support for the conference. HFI, Healthy Food Ingredients, Chris is back there, also a member of the Northern Crops Council. So if you like what you see today, or if you don't like what you see today, let Chris know. North Dakota Grain Growers, again, a longtime supporter, and Montana Wheat and Barley Committee. So again, we talk about being a four-state entity. There's a reason NCI is in North Dakota. We've got sponsors from Minnesota, North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. These grains are important for all four states. So about 5 years ago, I was here for the grand opening of this facility. And when we were planning this conference, I had a number of our staff say, why would we come to the Oliver Kelley Farm? right? Wouldn't it be easier to do this in Fargo? And it would have been much easier for us. At the same time, we're close to a major hub, airline hub in Minneapolis-St. Paul. We're basically in the suburbs of Minneapolis-St. Paul. I don't know of any facility that matches both the old and the new, as well as the Oliver Kelley Farm. To be able to look backwards, but as well as to look forward. So I think from an ancient grains standpoint, this facility suits it perfectly. To be able to look out the windows, my only fear is it's going to be a little distracting today, later in the day, as there's going to be more activity going on behind us. But it's my pleasure to introduce, this is our 4th program that NCI has had here. Anders and his team have been fantastic guests, or fantastic hosts. My pleasure to introduce Anders Mayland, the director of the Oliver Kelley Farm.
Well, good morning, everyone. We are totally thrilled to have you here today. As Mark mentioned, the pandemic's kind of presented a lot of challenges for different historic sites and museums, and so for us, this is a great opportunity to get back to do what we're doing well, bringing people together to talk about the past, present, and future of Minnesota agriculture. Now, the Minnesota Historical Society manages 13 operated sites throughout the state. Oliver Kelley Farm is one of them. So we are located on 200 acres of beautiful riverfront property along the Mississippi River. And we see about 45,000 guests here each year. About 18,000 of those are K-12 students who come and do educational programming on our site. And for many of them, we are their first entry point into learning about agriculture in the state. And so thrilled to have you here today. I want to give a special thank you to Mark and the NCI team, Neil as well, for bringing the Ancient Grains Conference here. We're just so thrilled to have you here today, and I know it's going to be a really wonderful educational opportunity. If you have an opportunity, I know that the agenda is completely packed, and we may need to look at pulling some blinds down to kind of limit the distractions, but we're going to be harvesting some turkey red wheat with an old Daisy Reaper out in the field today. And if you get a chance over your lunch break to wander on down to the historic site, you are welcome to help tie some sheaves with us and put them into stooks, because we'll be doing that. So thank you again for being here today, and I hope that you have a really wonderful experience.
Next, I'd like to introduce Neil Doty. Neil has been with NCI longer than I have, and has been involved with developing agribusinesses in the upper Great Plains for many, many years. So he hates it when I do an introduction for him. He's a PhD in cereal science. He has never told me how many businesses he has started or helped start, but he's been instrumental at NCI. If you read that handbook, you'll notice that he was I don't know if you're listed as the editor or not, but he's been instrumental in this program and that handbook and many of the things that NCI has done in his tenure at NCI. So,
thank you, Mark. This is a real pleasure to be here at the first annual conference. Hi, Lolly. Yeah. It's good to see our friends from Ori here in Minnesota, and so many friends and clients and colleagues. A lot of you we've worked with in the past, but a lot of you haven't. So I'm going to talk a little bit about NCI's capabilities. 1983, NCI was started by the North Dakota legislature for the 4 states, and it was based on wheat primarily. And it was to provide marketing and courses and bring export expertise for the wheat industry, both durum and hard wheats. However, now we deal in several dozen types of crops, and we're really excited about the ancient grains full spectrum of crops that we deal with. And we deal with these courses, with webinars, with social media, different types of ways to educate people. But our technical services are available for ancient grains to develop new pastas, new baked goods, new product development for startup companies and for multinational companies as well. So, and we have a full team at NCI, and our team is growing. I see them, a lot of them in the back row there. We have our PhDs, we have food scientists, we have food technologists, and food technicians. And the exciting thing is that if you have an idea and you would like to incorporate ancient greens into a new product, we're here to help. And our services are probably very economical compared to a lot of other venues. And so me as the business development manager, we're here to help you launch your business or expand your business. And I think that this conference will be a great way to do that. Now, about the conference. So now when we have our panelists come up here, we encourage everybody to develop questions. We want to have a free-flowing discussion amongst all of us. So the panelists themselves will describe who they are and talk a little bit about themselves, but we want to open it up to a lot of interaction amongst us. Last night during our reception was great. If the reception was 6 to 8, well, it ended at 10 o'clock, you know, because people just couldn't peel away from their conversations. And we want to have the same environment here. So feel free to ask any question, well, within reason, you know. Ask questions, and we'll have a free-flowing discussion. And at the end of the day, when we leave here, every one of us want to have one new idea at least, or be enthused about ancient grains, and so that we can expand the market. So, and with that, I'll turn it back over to Mark.